Well, good morning, viewers. Today we have a 2002 Toyota 4Runner, and the complaint is the speedometer doesn't work. And you see the check engine light is on, ABS light is on, VSC off light is on, and WSC traction light is on. I'm going to pay attention to the the odometer to see if it works as well. And they didn't complain about any transmission problems. So we're going to road test this for a couple K and see if the odometer is 236. Obviously the speedo is not working. So I drove it about 2 kilometers and the odometer didn't register, neither did trip odometer. But I noticed another issue when I drove it. This play in the steering wheel might be a U-joint, and there's a squeak when you turn the wheel. Like a seized ball joint. I can't tell what side it's coming from. I'm going to see if I don't have a helper today. I'm pretty sure it's from the right side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from the right side. So this is a new vehicle record. I've never scanned this before. We're going to do a network scan and see what codes it has to offer. Got a clean battery charger connected to it, set at 13.6 volts. Does not support automatic ID. Well, it does, just the snap-on scan tool doesn't support automatic ID. 2002. 4Runner, it's an R. 3.4. And it was 126,000 or something. I'll double check that after. Well, I know that this vehicle would support a network scan, but the snap-on scan tool doesn't because of being a 2002. So let's go into the engine control and read codes. See if that check engine light is related to I got the key in the run position. Current codes. Vehicle speed sensor A fault. P0500, that's just a generic code. Let's check for history code just to be safe. Same code. Let's go into the ABS. Codes only. Left front wheel speed sensor fault, engine control system fault. That's interesting. The P0500 code in the ECM is setting an engine control code in the ABS module. Fault in ABS control system, 0-point yaw rate sensor undone. So the important one is the C0205. So I'm going to start with a visual inspection of the sensors and the wiring to the sensor. So I'll get this set up on the hoist. So underneath this 4Runner, we're looking at the left front speed sensor. And I don't see anything visually wrong with the wiring. There's no damaged wires, at least that I can see, but it could be broken inside the loom. And I should check the connection up on top of the control arm. See, it's got newer brake calipers and brake work's been done on it. There's no play in this ball joint, but it's definitely squeaking, and that's looks like it's either pressed into the lower control arm or serviced with that lower control arm. But that's a secondary issue. Looks like it's had the struts degraded to non-active strut. I imagine that goes to the original strut or some kind of suspension controls, but I'm not certain. So I would expect these to be magnetic pulse generators given the vintage. So we're going to disconnect this sensor and test the resistance of it across the sensor. I was going to confirm there was no speed signal from it, but in the engine or in the ABS data there is no speed signal data, unless I picked the wrong data list. Just said ABS data. Let's go back and see what other options we have. Test mode, data display, actuator test, reset memory, signal check mode. Let's try that. Entering check mode will erase and codes and freeze frame data. Okay, whatever. Please refer to the repair shop manual before performing this function. If the engine is not running, go ahead and start the engine. That's not what we want. I want to see the speed signals. What's test mode? 0-point calibration on the yaw rate sensor. No, I don't want to do that either. I find it hard to believe that they don't have a wheel speed sensor signals in the ABS data. Is it Snap-on that doesn't have it, or is it Toyota that doesn't have it? Well, let's try another scanner just for shits and giggles. So let's see if this ThinkTool Pro Plus will auto ID the vehicle. Doesn't look like it. Okay, we'll manually ID it. So it does support a smart scan by the looks of it. So we're doing a network scan. Snap-on's tool didn't support that. It's not fast. Any module in red has codes, and the number next to it is the number of codes present in that module. So this one will be P0500, P0500, vehicle speed A. There was another code there, or P0500, C0205. Well, let's go into the ABS and see if we got data. Read data stream. Normally you'd have a wheel speed sensor data in the ABS data stream, but it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't. Boy, that's slow. 10%. Front wheels right, front left wheel speed. So Snap-on doesn't have it. Well, we don't know yet. Rear left wheel direction, rear right, rear left wheel speed. So, okay. So I'm gonna graph these. Spinning the front left. No signal. Let's see if we have one from the front right. Now if I spin the left front wheel, will the right front wheel turn? So maybe that's why Snap-on didn't have it, because it doesn't report it. Now, Rear left, let's try those. Let's graph all four. I'm turning the rear left, which is turning the rear right through the differential. And I got no data, so it likely doesn't support data, even though the data list is there. So we're gonna go to conventional testing with an ohm meter and AC voltage. So I've unplugged the connector, and as you can see, there's green death in the connector. I'm going to test the resistance of the speed sensor, but this harness needs to be replaced. I'm going to see if we get a signal out of that speed sensor. Pins don't look too bad inside there. A little bit green. So the snap-on guided component test suggests that this wheel speed sensor is a traditional magnetic pulse generator with 1.4 to 1.8 kilo ohms of resistance across it, and it should produce an AC voltage signal. Yeah, front wheel speed sensor. ABS will generate AC voltage signals. So we're going to check the resistance of the sensor. So I got the ohm meter connected across the 2 pins at the sensor, and it's set at 4,000 ohms and it's overscale. Let's try changing the range. 40,000. Let's go to 4 million. Okay, it's 3.95 million ohms resistance. So the sensor winding is failed, open. I'm moving the terminals and it's not making a connection. So it needs a sensor and a harness. We'll see if we can source it aftermarket, because OE is not cheap. I don't see anything obviously wrong. Now, the customer mentioned something about a rear wiper and a rear defogger, I think, not working as well, so we're going to look into that. Oh, and I did find a Standard Motor Products speed sensor and harness assembly. You might take a look at the connection up on top of the control arm. Time for tires too, by the looks of it. Not much left of the tires, but they better get some front end work done first. This lower control arm likely needs to be replaced to change that ball joint. It might be pressed in there. So I checked the rear window wiper and it didn't work. But I know if the rear glass, which rolls up and down into the tailgate, is not closed completely, it'll disable the rear wiper. So I rolled it down and now the rear wiper works. I don't know if that's picking it up. So I would expect the rear defogger to work now too. Where's the rear defogger? I'll leave that on for a few seconds and check the rear glass with a thermal camera. So as you can see, the grid lines are working now. This is a nice way to check them. It's calibrating. So I suspect the glass wasn't up all the way. It might have been frozen or not rolled up completely, because I rolled it down and back up again and now the wiper works. So we'll call that one fixed for now. So we're back working on this 4Runner here, and I've made a number of stupid errors, rookie errors. One of them was IDing the vehicle as a 2002. The customer informed me it's a 2003. And I don't know why I didn't look at the VIN and confirm it, but that makes a huge difference, because 2002 has a magnetic pulse generator and 2003 is a digital sensor. So you can't measure the resistance of it. But I was about to, I know the harness is compromised, but then I was lifting it up again to replace the harness, and I noticed play in this wheel bearing. Now the wheel bearing has the reluctor, the magnetic reluctor on the back of it. So I'm assuming now that that bearing is compromised. But I'm looking for the wheel lock socket. I don't find it in the glove box, I'm going to look in the back. So in the 2003 application, it has wheel speed sensor signals in the data list. It's quite got an extensive data list, but I pulled up all the wheel speed sensors here and I spun the wheels and I got no signals from any one of them. Now, I had the same problem with the Think Tool Pro Plus. Now, is it a problem with the vehicle or a problem with the scanner? It does have the C0205 code for missing or defective left front speed sensor. I know it needs a wheel bearing, but I'm not confident that's going to fix it. I'm going to look around in this data list. Looking at this data list, I see another odd data parameter. Wheel direction front left says back, and front right says forward. And I turned all the wheels forward, but when I was turning the rear wheels through the transfer case, it turned the front wheels backwards. I'm going to graph these ones. And try spinning them. So the top four, this one says wheel direction, rear left, forward. So I'm going to spin the rear left. That's turning the right, left front backwards. Let's try spinning it backwards. It's like these data parameters don't change. Let's try clearing the codes out of it. Maybe the presence of codes has got something to do with the data parameters being locked out. Like I said, I know it needs a wheel bearing, but I'm waiting for the customer to call me where the wheel lock socket is. I hate looking through everything in the vehicle. I looked in the glove box and the console, but the customary spots. Oh, I should have went into fault codes to see if that fault code's still there. C0205. Let's go back into fault codes. See if it has a circuit code. C1223, fault in ABS control system. I wonder if that's relevant. So let's look at troubleshooter chart for C1223. C1223. When C1223 is memorized, there is no malfunction in the VSC system. Code sets when a malfunction occurs in the ABS control system, possibly defective brake actuator assembly. Clear code, recheck for code. If code is not output, replace brake actuator assembly. Well, that's pretty vague. C0205. Code set 6 miles per hour or more when no pulse signals are detected. If signal is interrupted 7 times in key cycle or circuit is open. Possible open sensor or circuit, possible foreign matter on sensor. Suggest ohming the sensor. Now that's false information. It doesn't work that way. That was 2002. Turn wheels if ohms okay. Look for normal pulse signal using lab scope or equivalent. Well, I know by looking at the troubleshooting chart for C0205 on a 2003, the sensor is digital. Oh, brother. So many anomalies. I'm going to try swapping the wires from the left to the right and the right to the left. So I plugged the new sensor into the harness on the left side, and I'm clearing the codes. Let's read them again and see if it's still there. I hate some of this old ABS stuff because sometimes the faults don't clear until it goes through a drive cycle. I'm going to read data while I run it on the hoist. So there's the hub assembly off, and I don't see any physical damage to the reluctor, but there's play in the wheel bearing for sure. This is the magnetic reluctor here, and I wiped it off. There was a light film of grease on it. But the sensor is corroded internally, and the wiring harness is corroded. So I'm going to replace the harness and the sensor and the wheel bearing, obviously, but I'm not confident that that's going to fix it. But we got to do that much. So it's back together and running, and the speedo still doesn't work. The C0205 code is present. I did have the wheels spinning. I got no data on this thing, so I'm going to investigate that other code. I know the wiring harness was compromised and the wheel bearing had play, but I put a new sensor, new wheel speed sensor wires up to the connector under the hood here, and we still got no speedo and can't clear the codes. So I printed off wiring diagram for the skid control computer. It's pin 15 and 16 at the skid control computer for the wheel speed sensor on the left front, and that is the S10 connector. So I got the connector unplugged at the skid control computer, which is conveniently located up beside the brake pedal up here, up there, and I've got two probes on the two wires, and we've got 2 ohms resistance on the wire. We've got a jumper together here, and if I take the jumper off, it goes over 40 ohms, and it was over 4 million. So the wires aren't shorted together, and they're not open. So it's looking like I've tested the fuses. There's a couple of fuses in here, and there's 2 10 amp fuses in the fuse panel in here. I've tested those fuses and powers and grounds to the skid control computer, but it's looking like it needs another skid control computer. And I don't imagine that's available from the dealer anymore, but we'll have to find out. So I'm on Identifix here, and the top 4th search for this vehicle is the code that I have, C1223. And I've already read through all these case histories, and quite a few of them were fixed by replacing the skid control computer. I clicked timing belt. How did I click timing belt? C1223. Oh, I clicked one above it. So sometimes that's referred to as the anti-lock brake control module, because it's part and parcel of the same thing. Lots of fixes with the wheel speed sensors, wheel bearings. I've left a phone message at the dealership asking about the price and availability of that skid control module. So reading this case history, it appears that a shorted master cylinder pressure sensor can take down the 5-volt reference and cause this problem. So I've measured the 5-volt reference at the master cylinder, and I disconnected the pressure sensor, and it set a fault code for the pressure sensor. There's the code, fault in master cylinder pressure 1246, which I did not have. If I backpin the black wire at the master cylinder pressure sensor, it shows 5 volts plugged in and disconnected. So let's clear the codes now. The strange thing is it's setting the left front speed sensor circuit code and not the other four. When I had that S10 plug at the S10 connector unplugged, it set right front speed sensor codes as well. Oh well. So I disconnected the left front speed sensor at the upper strut, and I disconnected the right front speed sensor at the upper strut. I connected the wiring harness from the left front side to the right front sensor, and now I have a right front wheel speed sensor code. So that kind of confirms there's a problem in the ABS unit. I got a call back from the dealer, part number 89540-35320, and it's no longer available. It's obsolete. Okay. So you can see I got the sensor connected to the right side now, and it sets a right code, which I didn't have before. I'll double check my wiring. Green is the plus wire and blue is the plus wire on here. Yes, I got it connected correctly. So I decided to take it for a road test, and I have speed signals from the other three wheels, but not the left front. So I'm going to connect the left front circuit to the right front speed sensor like I had it on the hoist, and see if I get a signal, because I'm not completely convinced that those aftermarket parts are 100%. It's only going to take a few minutes. We're this far in the ditch now, it won't hurt. Well, ask me if I'm a happy camper. So I got the left front speed sensor circuit connected to the right front speed sensor and vice versa. And now the left front speed signal is working. And the speedo's working. So it obviously uses the left front speed signal for the speedometer. Let's get a little bit faster speed here. So that theoretically means that that new part is defective. Whatever. That speed sensor was replaced in there too, because I could see there was an anti-seize compound on it. Not recently though. So I really don't want to admit to you what I found wrong, but I decided to lift it up and take one more look at that speed sensor. Turns out the aftermarket connector can be plugged in backwards. I went to unplug it and I couldn't realize why the lock was in the back. Because I plugged the speed sensor into the harness and then I installed it in the knuckle. So let's clear the codes. And let's read the codes. Oh my God. Now let's look at data now. Front right, the rear left, front left, rear right, front right. Running on the bike and put it in drive.
At least I didn't throw $1,000 module on it. I can't explain why I didn't have speed signals on the hoist when it was running before. Maybe I needed to cycle the key after clearing the codes, I'm not sure. I did so many different things on this thing. Let's take it for a road test and see if it's okay. Well, as you can see, all 4 speed sensors are working now, and the speedometer's working, all the warning lights are off. So that C1223 code is secondary. Go figure. The suspension warning light is on, or the suspension system is deactivated because it's got aftermarket struts in it. Oh well, I'm glad this one's fixed, but I wasted a lot of time on this thing. Like I said, you got to pay to go to school. I know more about this system than I needed to know. Who would think that that connector could be plugged in backwards? It's got a key on it, but the connector is sloppy and it plugs in backwards. Oh well. At least I didn't, at least I figured it out. Thanks for watching.